and we get what we get. So here goes, process starts. And first things first is I gotta pull this out of that and put it back in place. There's little clips here that hold it. And I gotta undo all the little clippies. You gotta get it off. So each one's a little different. So this one here, this cotter pin. And so I want to get a rug under this thing here before I do anything. So I tend to drop nuts and bolts, and without a rug, the nuts and bolts kind of go wherever they want and get lost. Let me get a rug. And part of this is explaining the whole process. So, this is my process. This is why I don't use motorcycle stands, because I tend to be a little klutz and drop everything. And when you drop it, I can't go down the 1949 Harley Davidson store and buy the next nut and bolt that I dropped. And this is all original nuts and bolts. And they're not exactly easy to find anymore. I don't want to lose them. So I'll put that there. And we still have a door in for the oil from sitting, so it's going to sunk. So we just put a little drain pad here to try and keep some of the oil off the rug. So now when I drop my nuts and bolts, it just might not roll away on me. So first things first, we got to get the little clippy things off, as I said. So we'll take a little vice grips here, and we shall start. One cotter pin down. Bring that here. Cotter pin. Since we need more pin in the butt. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're not. Cotter pin, and another wing nut. Okay, that's that. And a little half-inch here. Okay. seen both, which I'll show you in a minute. What I've got is a bolt head on this side. I got to put a wrench on it to get it off. I've seen the square nut heads and the bolt heads on these bikes. So this one is a bolt. So we'll never know who replaced what, when, or where. Did it come from the factory that way, or did somebody use it? I've seen both on these sheets. When you're building something, you're grabbing stuff out of a box. You grab what you got, you stick it on, and you send it down the road. That's the manufacturing process. What you have is top and bottom here. This is the spring part, and this is the catch, if you will. So. Not so easy. Now, these are usually 9/16, which I didn't grab, so we'll find one here in a second. That looks to be 9/16, which is correct. So we'll go get some rock tools here. And pull that right off. Let's try and get proper tools. We have seat off here. Yeah. Generally, focus out. There we go. That's that. There. That's this here. And we have our beautiful original seat off. We can see the bottom of it here. And we still have some of the original date code here on the bottom. So this stays here. See, it doesn't come out. You pull these off. And these here, as you can see, when we put the bolt back on, they can stay right there, the little nut. That's fine. What I need to do is put this on the bench in a way it won't get hurt. So excuse me, I'll be out of camera. seat is now safe on the bench. And we're going to come back here. And just put a couple nuts onto this here. Like yay. Sometimes these get real particular because they've been on for so long, and they only want to go on the exact one that came off. That's so good. A lot of times you have to retap and dye all this stuff. You get it, you go back on. So no matter, we'll deal with that later. I've got a couple of bad threads. A couple of bad threads, so we're going to have to tap and dye everything before we put it back together. Real common, way too common. Because it hasn't been off in forever. You know, how many decades. And they freeze. You go start twisting threads and the metal goes, ouch, I don't like that. It don't matter sometimes if you squirt stuff on it or not. This time I didn't, and I didn't think it was necessary, but the threads are messed up and not all one go. Real common. So we'll take care of it and address the problem before we put it back together. It's all part of the stuff. Don't ever force questionable threads back together. That's what tap and die kits are for. And this is what parts boxes are for. So you can put your parts box where it's supposed to go. Put your parts where it's supposed to go. See, now I can lift that up. I try to do that with the stock seat on. Nose is in the way. Huge problem. Solo seat, we can do it, but not that. We put that little clip back in there. Then we can take our dash off here. We have our little, very hard to find side clip. Come on, off. Scoot over that. Hold on a second. Have to be very gently pried off. Come on. Sometimes I don't like coming off. Because they've been on for so long, like everything else. It's a snap fit. There's nothing you can do but unsnap it. And re-snap it as best as possible. Because everybody else is taking them off however many zillions of times, and sometimes not always so correctly. So, that's that. Take our dash nut off. Here. We have dash cover off. Now, let's see. Start loosening the tanks. pipe can fall down. It keeps it from falling down on me. Off, and then loose enough, because again these threads are old, so I have to be careful when I put it all back together. It hasn't been apart in a very, very, very long time, if ever. Off here. Alright. So we got to pull the bottom nut first. This has to come off. Okay. Eventually, we might have to let that soak. So, that is what Gibbs is for. So if I've got to let that soak, I'm going to have to let the rest of this soak here. So I have to let that soak there, I have to let this soak here. So we'll throw a little bit on here, just since we're doing anyways. You know, those are already loosened up. When it comes off at the end, they've got to be really loose. You have a harder time controlling the tank. So we're going to let this soak. We're going to call this section of the video good. And we'll squirt this again tomorrow morning, and we're going to get back to this bike tomorrow night after that soaks a little bit. Because I've got to be able to pull this gas line off here, which is now a problem, and drop it. I can't pull the tank off always with it loose. Sometimes it comes, and it usually doesn't. And if it doesn't, and the whole tank is loose, and I'm screwing around with the gas line, I create a huge problem and drama of wobbly tank that could easily be dropped, or bend, worse, bend the gas line, which will never go back straight. So you have to be patient, as I've stressed many times in many videos. You don't get in a rush, or you destroy your motorcycle. Do not get in a rush. So that's that there. I'm going to throw a little bit on here. Throw it on there. Since I'm doing the tanks, all of this has to come out. I need a new washer here, and I'll put another petcock in there. And that's that. So, as promised, at least we have it in process, although a little bit later in the day than I'd hoped for. But I did promise them that we'd do the tanks and get it running, and we got to drop the bowl. So while this is being flushed, here after that, I'm not going to wait till the last minute. I'm going to drop the bowl and see what kind of shape our carb is in or not. So it was running good. I stressed that. And our battery is still charged. You can see the lights here. So we've been keeping it up on the battery tender, and the battery seems to be fine. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye now.